I'm here with Chef Tori Barr, who is the chef at Bamore Cellars, and we are going to be talking about the next release of Crunchy Red Fruit. And the theme for this release is a new old world. And when you start learning about wine, you hear about old world wines, i.e. European wines, and you hear about new world wines, which are wines from the Americas or South Africa or Australia. That distinction has been blurred a ton in recent years, and you're going to see that with these wines. If you're a 6-bottle member, we've got 3 pairs of the same style of wine. So Grüner, Veltliner, Dolcetto, and Bordeaux or Bordeaux blends. And just wanted to have some cool comparisons. So I encourage you to open these side by side so you can try 2 versions of the same grape or same winemaking style and determine for yourself, does the old world always mean old world? Does new world, the sort of riper, fruit-driven thing, always track through? And so you're going to see the old world wines here in that sort of gray area of like actually a little more floral and fruity, and the new world wines a little more restrained and earthy in this release. We're getting things started with this wine. This is Alois Kracher. This is made by Alois Kracher's son, Gerhard Kracher. A really cool Grüner Veltliner from the southern part of Austria, Burgenland. This is on Lake Neusiedlersee, where they have a lot of botrytis. They have this wonderful honeyed quality to these wines. And gosh, it's a very atypical Grüner Veltliner. It's not rootsy and radishy and super tart. It's a little more floral, a little more fruity.
Cheers.
Really, yeah, cheers. Really cool notes of like white flowers and green apple here. Tori, for you, where did this take you for a food pairing?
Yeah, kind of like what you said. It is a lot more floral. I really like the acidity here. It's got this like kind of like a lemon pith vibe to it, if you will. And so whenever I think about food and wine pairings, I like to think about first and foremost flavor. And so light, bright, lemony. Thinking salad, even though it's winter, we can still have these lovely, beautiful, vibrant salads. I love winter chicories, especially with wines like this, just because winter chicories can be a little bit bitter, which actually can complement those more acidic notes and kind of feel less bitter when you actually pair them with a wine. So
cool.
Yeah.
Next one, we are going to go to the Columbia Gorge, so local Grüner Veltliner grown just a couple hours away in southern Washington. This is the Rainmaker Vineyard coming from Underwood Mountain, which is on the Washington side of the Columbia River. Gorgeous place on earth, very mountainous and hilly and extreme. You have very cold temperatures in the night, very warm temperatures during the day sometimes, lots of wind. This is Grüner Veltliner that is quite earthy and on the tart, dry, sour side, which is very atypical for Washington wines. And this is made by our friend Jeff Lindsay Thorson at WT Vintners and Gorgiste.
I really love the savory aspect on this wine. This is actually really good. I love, Caesar dressing on my salads, and I actually made an oyster Caesar dressing quite a few months ago, and I've just been waiting for the perfect wines to pair it with. And just because of that savory aspect, I think, with the Worcestershire sauce and the Parmesan in there, and just those smoked oysters, I think, from the can. So easy, really good pairing, honestly.
Delightful. Yeah, and I think you did a chicory radicchio kind of salad that's going to be the pairing. So we just did 3 recipes for this release because the idea is you're going to get one, if you're a 3-bottle, you're getting at least one of every 3, and you'll have a recipe to go with it. Or you could open both wines, make the recipe, and try these alongside it, and see which wine maybe goes better with whatever recipe that Tori created for these. So love the recipes. Really excited about the boar ragu that you are pairing with this. Do you want to talk about that dish, and then we'll hop into these wines?
Yeah. So the boar ragu, it's super easy. You just get, it's hard to get like wild boar shoulder anywhere these days, but I really just like the frozen ground stuff. Super easy, a lot more affordable also. Makes it quicker cook time too. So, Dolcetto, I really love the acidity on Dolcettos, and tomato sauce, right? Thinking about acidity and tomato sauce, not trying to pair with anything that's going to fight that acidity, because at the end of the day, that's what's most important, and that's what's really going to heighten your flavors or kind of, kill your flavors. So, just really quick, going back to this Gorgiste, it really does have this kind of vegetal finish that I find a lot of tinned fish actually, like oysters and mussels, end up having also. And so I feel like even just smoked oyster straight out of a can with this would be so good.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rare case of the wine that's from the New World, quote unquote. We are abolishing that term. I think it's a good thing to sort of get away from. But the whole point is that like those old distinctions don't really work anymore, because of the two wines, this is the one that's more salty, savory, and earthy versus this very effusive and floral style coming from Kracher. So it's a really fun comparison to get into. I'm excited for you all to try it. We're going to move on to this Dolcetto that Boar Ragout recipe is for. Yeah. And we're actually starting with the California, which again, now the lighter, softer, easier option is the one from the New World, and the more serious, dense, richer Voerzio is the second in this. We're serving this with a little chill on it. This Poe Dolcetto, this comes from Mendocino, Split Rock Ranch, single organically farmed vineyard in a very cool climate area from Mendocino. So some similarities to Piedmont, not every similarity, but there's a sort of wildness to this wine that I find really appealing. It's going to crush with a chill on it. You definitely want that. I mean, it's good on its own at room temp, but I mean, if you put this on with a chill and have it with some burgers or ragu, pizza.
Yeah, it's so classically savory and kind of dusty, but in a good way. Kind of gamey. Just, I think the boar, right? Rather than beef, rather than pork ragu, I think the boar is so important of an aspect here, just to lean into those savory flavors, because that's what's so unique about it, right? That's what I love about wine and food and wine pairings, is really getting to hit on the unique flavors that we find. And finding unique flavors to pair with that, you know?
So this one is Roberto Voerzio 2022 Priavino Dolcetto, and this is Dolcetto from its homeland. This is from Piedmont, from a southeast facing hillside in the Barolo area where Roberto Voerzio plies his trade. He was kind of one of the original Barolo producers to push for a riper, bigger style, and you'll see that in this wine. But also, I think this really reads like classic great Dolcetto, just made with a very qualitative mindset. This is the sort of swing for the fences baller wine that we put in the box, because it's like excellent and beautiful and has a lot to say.
Yeah.
Roberto Voerzio's Barolos can go for sometimes 300, 400, or 500 or more a bottle. So have his Dolcetto in your box is really cool, because these wines give all that quality and density and concentration, but the Dolcetto is accessible. It's ready to drink now. It doesn't need 5 to 20 years to be drinkable. So
yeah, this has that super classic acidity, right, for sure, that we find on Dolcettos, and I love it. Again, I think it's going to go great with tomato sauce. It still has that savoriness, that herbaceous quality, like dried herbs de Provence sort of quality to it. I think it's going to go great with ragu.
Delicious. Okay, so for the Bordeaux portion of this, we're seeing a similar trend with these other ones, where the higher alcohol wine is not the one from the New World, it's the one from the Old World. So the Château Gaby clocks in, or the Princess Gaby from Château Gaby clocks in at 15.5% alcohol, which is like, that's Eastern Washington and, you know, Central California numbers. And that's being made in Canon, Fronsac, and Bordeaux. And this wine is made in Chile. This is Grillos, Cantores, and this is a 2020 Cabernet coming from Valle de Maule, which is in the southern part of Chile's Central Valley. 2020 Cab, Chilean Cab. I'm expecting green here.
Yeah, very green.
Yep.
Super green. Yeah. Definitely has that. It's not so much the bell pepper, it's more of it's spicier than it's like more jalapeno than it is bell pepper.
Red bell pepper. Like a riper, fruitier pepper note. That's not just all mint and like green tobacco. Man, that's good. So with this Chilean Cab, it's great because it has the texture of Cabernet and it has that fruity bell pepper note that makes you, signal obviously towards Cabernet when you're drinking it. But it's not a huge alcohol bomb. It's like a really fresh, sessionable wine that you could have over the course of a meal, and it's delicious. So this is Clos, which is 4 winemaker friends. One of them, a very famous Chilean enologist and viticulture guy, Pedro Parra, who's done incredible projects up and down the West Coast. He's working on stuff in Spain and working on stuff in the Northwest and California right now too. Just really incredible stuff. So to have Pedro Parra on a project is a lot, and it's really special. So pretty yummy.
Yeah, so for these Both of these Bordeaux's, we're pairing a blackened lamb chops with some herbed chutney. Again, that black fruit, that's always usually present in Bordeaux varieties. I think especially now, right, it's winter, we're not getting very many ripe berries. And I think actually some slightly underripe, blackberries are actually going to go really far with this because of that tartness. So it's okay if the berries are underripe, right? We want the acidity, right? Yeah. We want that acidity. And then, just those fresh, like the mint on there with this specific, the Chile Bordeaux is, I think it's going to go far.
Yeah. So it's not an exact parody of grape variety, grape variety, grape variety. This one is Cabernet, 100%. And then this one has Cabernet in it, but it's a Merlot dominant blend. So this is 80 Merlot, 1010 Cab Franc, Cab Sauvignon. Both of those Cabernets in this blend, though, show up quite nicely. You get the greenness and the black fruit of Cabernet with Merlot's red fruit and chocolate and herbal qualities.
Yeah. And I think the lamb chop itself, blackened, is really going to kind of lean more towards this Princess Gaby just because that charred sort of chocolatey bitterness that comes from charring meats, I think is going to go great with that.
It was a 9-year-old Bordeaux we're putting in your box. It feels cool to be able to put a wine with some serious age that's kind of ready to go. Although we opened this wine yesterday and it was a little disjointed on opening, but it is right now it's singing. It's doing the most. It's got great texture. The tannins have opened up. It definitely is showing some age, but that's on purpose. We wanted to have a mature wine in this blend to show you kind of how things progress and change as they get older. So I think it's super fun.
Yeah.
Check out Tori's recipes. Go visit Tori at Bayermore Cellars. We'd love to maybe feature one of their wines in a box in the future. Go have Tori cook for you up at Bayermore in Woodinville. Tori, thank you.
Yeah,
cheers.
absolutely. Cheers, man. This is awesome. Yeah, great wine.
Hope you enjoy the New World, Old World pairings, and thanks for being a part of Country Red Fruit. Cheers.
And if you have to make one recipe, if you only have to make one of them, definitely make that oyster Caesar dressing.
Yes.
It
looks incredible.
Wines. Yeah, so good. It's going to be so good.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, friends.